Hi guys, today in the Art of Touch we'll be working on backbending with the amazing Kate. So get ready, you just need your mat and a big smile on your face. Okay, let's get started. Today just be aware of your partner, especially in the lower back and at the shoulder area. Kate, would you come to downward facing dog please? So we start with some stretching of the thighs just to make sure the psoas are open, the hip flexors are open to go into deeper back bending. So Kate, step your right foot forward, please close to your right thumb, and rise on fingertips lower onto your back knee. Beautiful. Thank you. Now bend in your back knee so the back heel is off the ground, and grab your foot from the inside with the right hand. So when she does that, I said the inside of the foot, just to make sure the back foot is not turning inward. Of course, she's really open, she could grab from the outside, but it's just so you guys have all options from level 1, 2 to 3. So I come with my right leg in the space between her hip and her left side body. I find a soft spot here, and I use my right hand onto a right pec. My left hand comes at the left ribs, and of course I can always ask my partner, does that feel good? Okay. For her, what is really important to remember is to not look up, but keep the left cheek parallel to the floor. This way, when I take my left hand into her left neck, she's going to be able to open her chest way more and find more of an extension at the back of the neck, reaching forward with the heart. Alright, lower your fingertips to frame your front foot. Shift your weight into your left hand, extend your back leg straight and come into a side plank. Coming into side plank, preparing for Kamatkarasana, the flip dog, I come at the same space, right behind this time her sacrum and her side body, her side ribs. Here, she can lean on me, so I place my leg to be really like a chair for her, and with my right hand on her right hip, I make sure she's really stable. When she starts to open the chest, I brace the rib with my left hand, and here you see she's really open so she can go really far. It might be the same for you at home. So just listen to your body. Then we go into a stepping forward. I slide my right hand behind her right leg. I stay with my left hand at her left hip so she can step forward slowly to take her right foot forward, eventually into Hanuman or just into a really long stance. So when she lowers the left knee, she's almost halfway there into Hanumanasana, the split. So in Hanuman, the tendency is all the time to shift the right foot forward. This puts pressure at the attachment of the arm string, so at the back of the leg. So sometimes also at the insertion. So here we slide the left foot back, is way better, way safer. And what am I gonna look at is first the alignment of the hip. So I take my left leg and left foot right behind her left foot and draw a right hip back. Then we're going here into the back bend. So as she bends her back knee, I stay with her and maintain the foot. Then I place my knees on each side of her back knee and use my torso as a wall, a boundary for her foot, so she can press herself up using the power of her fingers. Once she feels stable, she can take one hand at a time back eventually to come into Ekapada Rajakapotasana. One hand, then the other hand, and she grabs around my neck. This way I have two hands to help her lift a little higher. The tendency in these postures is to collapse completely. I can even take my hands onto her biceps, wrap them towards her face and keep lifting her. And this must feel really good, hopefully. Yes, okay, perfect. And then we come back together. I stay up at her ribs to help her lift and then lower her back foot down. Once she's down with the foot, she can press herself back into downward facing dog. And I stay just next to her and I give her a little traction in her down dog. Right after the back bend is gonna feel really well. For Kate, for example, in her downward facing dog, she's actually already really open, so she needs more of a hug on the outer buttocks. So I'm gonna use my palms open onto her sacrum and actually squeeze my forearms in to draw back. This way I'm tilting her pelvis a little more, so her tailbone is reaching towards her heels. Then she goes to the other side, stepping the left foot forward and lowering the right knee down. So you'll see on that side how I get into my placement to adjust her. So you see this space, this is really the space where you want to put your left leg. Then take the twist, open to the side. This twisting thigh stretch is a wonderful posture for a lot of people actually to open their hips and the front of their hip to go into back bending and save their lower back. So here, right hand at the right ribs, left hand at the left pec. Then we come back together to center. Once you frame her foot, she extend the back leg and shift her weight into her right leg. So you want to make sure the right foot is really strong onto the ground when you come into Vashisthasana, the side plank. I stay here behind the leg. Of course, I'm moving every time so you guys can see, but ideally you stay in contact with your student the entire time. I use my left hand here to lift her up so her body from the side looks like a croissant. And I use my right hand at the right ribs so she can open her chest fully. Some people like to turn the right hand. A lot of people also do have the flexibility to stay here. Maybe not reaching as far, but then it's really nice as well to test the shoulder mobility. Then coming back, I stay with her, I brace the right hip and take my left hand behind her left thigh. So when she steps forward, eventually keeping the left hand up, she goes right into Hanumanasana, sliding the right foot back. I stay with my left hand at the left hip, my right foot right behind her right heel, helping her square. And really don't hesitate to use your right hand if you need to keep the right heel above the toes. Now, fingertips on each side of the hips. She's going to start working on the lifting of her torso. She does that really well. And then bend the back knee. And when she does that, I come closer with my belly, with my knees, to help her actually here in this posture. What you could also do is stay standing and use your legs. This way, here, when she reaches your arms up, I actually can pull her up even higher. But you see, it's a little less stable than the first one. Here, the good thing is that as soon as you get there, you're gonna have the opportunity to lift your torso a little bit to help your partner elongate the side body. Be really careful when you assist this to not arch your back, but really round your spine and push down onto your feet. You okay, Kate? Then lower your fingertips down, frame the front foot. We lower together the back leg together on the ground, and she reaches back into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. From downward facing dog, so I will give her the same traction, so you guys really print that. You can always ask your student to bend the knees a little bit. This gives them more mobility in the pelvis. And then really slowly, we lower the knees down, coming into Ustrasana, the camel. So, here for the camel is pretty much the same assist as going into what we call a drop back. So, it's really important to remember that the elbows are going down to ground the hips and the knees onto the ground, while the hands are actually digging into the back of your student to help them lift the heart as high as possible. So, reach your hips up. And if you'd like to point your feet, feel free to do that. I come with one knee bent to the side, and I'm actually going to use my elbow to maintain my arm. Here, I draw my elbows down and ground her hips and dig my fingers into her back. When I do that, naturally she's going to take an inhale. I breathe with her, and as she starts to open, I still ground my elbows down, but dig my fingers into the back of her heart. Does that feel good, Kate? All right, lower your hands onto your heels. Where are they? And keep opening the chest. For you, assisting is really important to turn your head to the side here. You don't want to be the head always facing your student. That would be really weird. To come out of it, I push my fingers into her back to help her lift and elongate her lower back. And then when she lowers, she can actually sit onto her heels and take a deep breath in, deep breath out to recover from that. Does that feel good? Okay. All right. Coming into wheel pose, lay down on your back. So your head is towards me, and this is probably the best assist that we use in yoga class to save the shoulders and the back of our students. So The only problem with this assist is that when I'm on that side, I cannot see the feet of my students. You have to remember that when the feet of your students are opening out to the side, it's because they're crunching their butt. You don't want this to happen. This would put pressure at the SI joint. Another thing that is important, whenever they are lifting their heels up, that means their legs aren't working properly. So you want to make sure the feet are grounded and really parallel together. If you need a block or two in between the feet, feel free to do that. So I come with my ankles here aligned with the top of her head, and my big toes are aligned with the outer shoulder of Kate. Now grab my ankles, Kate, please. Good. Now when she places her hands, I can have already an indication of how are her elbows gonna move. You wanna keep the elbows aligned with your own shin bones. So draw your elbows in a little tiny bit. That's it, beautiful. When she does that, she's actually naturally gonna protract a little bit her shoulders and broaden her back. So the space in between her shoulder blades is gonna be bigger. Now inhale, curl your tailbone up, lift your hips off the ground, and pause here. Now keep your shoulders on the ground, simply puff up your chest towards your head more. You see here she starts to work with the legs, and already she can find here the back muscles, the rhomboid is opening and working way more. Lift your chest even more. Even more. That's it. Hug your elbows in. Good. Draw your shoulder blades down towards your back and towards your feet. Nicely done. And come back. So this would be stage one. First, work with the feet, open the chest, hug the elbows. Stage two, lift your hips up. Draw your shoulder blades towards your back. And now as you do that, spread even more in between your collarbones. Nice. And inhale, come onto the crown of your head. I'm using here my elbows against her elbows. When she lifts here, she's going to do the same actions as before. So keep the weight onto the crown of your head, but lift your shoulders higher up. Push onto your feet. And now you're accessing your upper back rise. Extend your arms and start to open your chest and torso. When she works here with the legs, I can have a look at her feet. If the legs are straight, beautiful. If they're not, I will ask her actually to press here strongly onto my fingers and press her chest towards me. Here, you want to dig your fingers at the back of the heart of your student and help them lean towards you. Does that feel okay? Okay, here on the way down, use your elbows at the sides of the arms of your student to make sure the elbows are not going to the side. So lower down slowly, bend your knees. I come with my elbows to the side of her arms, chin to chest. A lot of beginners would lower on their head, so be really careful with that. And we have a break together here. You can shake the hips to the sides. That feels really good. I never recommend to draw the knees to the chest right away after a back bend, especially if you know they're going to be more back bending after that. Okay, so the best thing to do is knees to the side or feet onto the side edges of the mat and let the knees drop into one another. What you can do as well, which is really nice in a private class, is to come with your hands onto the thighs of your students right above the knees and simply apply pressure. All right, from here we'll work on dropping back. Okay, so it is the same as Ustrasana. So in the drop back, I want to make sure your feet are not too close. So lots of people start with the feet really close, like not even the distance of their hip bone. So to check that, you can always turn one foot in and then out, or use two fists. This would be the minimum distance for your drop back, unless you are extremely, extremely open. So after that, for us as adjusters, we need to step one foot in between the feet of our partner. And again, I have to get ready and really stable. So I take a warrior one step with my left foot not too far. So it's really a small baby warrior one. And I dig my fingers into her back. Would you turn your torso towards me so we can see my fingers? So here, have a look. I press down with my forearms and squeeze in. So I'm creating like a corset right behind her hip. And then my fingers are actually digging into her back to help her lift. Okay? Let's come back. We ground down first, then she takes a big inhale, and she keeps her arms to the side. Whenever she sees the floor, that will be the moment for her to reach for the floor and lower her hands down. If your shoulders are closed, you would lower your hands with the fingertips out to the side. For her, right here, it is perfect. That's it. So for lots of people, opening the hands to the side will help them with the shoulders and hugging of the elbows. Nice, Kate. Keep breathing in the wheel. And every time she inhales, I'm watching, I'm really aware of her breath, because when we come back up, we actually need to combine our breath together. So I use again my elbows to the side of her hips. What I'd like you to do, Kate, is keep your legs straight. That's it. So we'll work on the way up with the legs straight. This is going to be really great for her because she's really open. So no momentum. Keep your legs straight, 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 and strong. And I ground down with my fingers, with my elbows, and up with my fingers. Did that feel good?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is one way to help somebody to go from the drop back up. The only thing that is really important to remember, most of the time when we do drop back, we keep the legs really straight. It's not for everybody. Some people need momentum, and those are the ones that are the less flexible. So have a look now. The way up is going to be different. The way down is going to be the same. So we do it together. Or maybe you guys walk me through it. So have a look at it first and then do it on your own. So inhale, open the chest and let yourself drop really slowly. I stay with her. And then we'll use this time momentum. I'm going to wait for inhale towards me to actually bring her closer. So I look at her breath and I just go inhale, inhale, 2, and 3. And that is the more traditional way, okay? So this way is great if you're less flexible, but for her, for example, she needs to work on the legs. So the first version is actually really good for her. Thank you so much, Kate. That was amazing. Yes, that's it for backbending, and for today was a little more of the heart of touch. See you guys soon. Namaste.